Hello, I'm Alexandra Mork, and welcome to the Campus News for Monday, November 4th. Students dressed as everything from police officers to Spider-Man competed in a Halloween costume contest last Thursday. Barry Nakash and Haley Levin, dressed as Phineas and Ferb, won Most Creative Costume, while Kiki Irioffen, who dressed as T-Bone from iCarly, won Most Funny. Students participated in the climate strike last Friday from noon to 3 p.m. at the west steps of City Hall in downtown Los Angeles. Alongside 16-year-old leader of the worldwide climate strike, Greta Thunberg, students protested against the fossil fuel industry in California. Students who miss class in the afternoon will have an unexcused absence, but will not receive detention. The school's emergency notification system sent a text Monday morning at 5:30 a.m. and another an hour later announcing both campuses were closed due to the Getty fire that began in the middle of the night. Just hours after a falling branch hit a power line, hundreds of acres went up in flames, forcing students and faculty to evacuate their homes. Due to the displacement of many students in California, colleges such as the University of Chicago, the University of Pennsylvania, Claremont McKenna College, and Northwestern University have extended early decision application deadlines by 1 week. A crisis response on Facebook is checking in on students for any updates, allowing them to mark themselves safe if they've been unaffected by the fires. Students and faculty are encouraged to immediately contact the school if displaced by the recent fires. Actors Jacob Tobiah and Tyler Ford will speak to students at an all-school assembly this Wednesday, November 6th in Taper Gymnasium. Tobiah and Ford are advocates for transgender and non-binary people and will speak to students about their experiences coming out as gender non-conforming youth. The Video Arts Department will go on a trip through Southern California next weekend. The purpose of the trip is to inspire creative ideas through the exploration of different bodies of water in the area. Students will get to see various sites around California, such as the Salton Sea, as well as stay in an Airbnb in Palm Desert. The trip as a whole is 6 days long, split up over 2 weekends. For more information, contact Jesse Cheehawk or Reb Limerick in the Video Arts Department. Upper School Dean Beth Slattery was appointed to head of Upper School, taking Laura Ross's position as Ross becomes associate head of Harvard-Westlake. In his email to the school community, President and Head of School Rick Commons says that Slattery stood out amongst more than 60 other applicants because of her experience and dedication. Slattery will assume her new position on July 1st, 2020. I talked to her about her new position. Slattery says that although she initially thought she would go back to working in college admissions, she recently decided that she wanted to continue her career at Harvard-Westlake.
I've loved being here, and I love the relationships that I have with kids and with parents and with the faculty. And so after 15 years as a dean, this was just a natural next step for more challenge, but also getting all of the wonderful things about being a dean and connecting with all those different people.
While Slattery acknowledges that her job responsibilities will shift as she begins more faculty oversight, she believes that she will still use her skills as a problem solver in her new position.
I see myself as a dean as very much a problem solver of helping kids and families and teachers when there are scheduling issues or when you're talking about college or any of those kinds of things. And I suspect that that's a lot of what I'm going to continue to do, just maybe at more of a macro level.
In her new position, Slattery says that her main goal is to be a source of stability to students, teachers, and families.
There's lots of changes happening. The new schedule with AP maximums, unweighting GPAs, and so that people know that I'm not really interested in making dramatic change anytime soon. I really want to be there as a support for all those different constituencies as we go through some change.
She also adds that she will continue to support her current students in any way possible as they transition to a new dean next year. The Latin American Hispanic Student Organization had their annual Day of the Dead celebration last weekend. The celebration usually takes place from October 31st to November 2nd. This year, the group will go to West Hollywood Cemetery, where they will watch performers sing and dance while dedicating it to their loved ones. This year, Harvard-Westlake implemented new policies regarding driving and parking near campus. Cole Katz has details.
Many students, faculty, and staff face the dreaded traffic up Coldwater Canyon each morning. It can take up to 25 minutes just to make it half a mile up Coldwater.
Driving back home from school, it takes me 2 minutes to get home. but in the morning it'll take like 25 minutes just because there's so much traffic.
Students have felt forced to use alternative methods, which are not always legal, in order to get to school on time. Senior Justin Spitz describes an incident last year in which he attempted to maneuver around standstill traffic on Coldwater.
I had a first period English class, and I'm like, oh geez, I don't know if I'll make it. So then, classic mistake, I went up the middle lane, and I went up around like 20 miles an hour up the entire way, because I wanted to check and see if I should not be doing that. But then before I could really get back into the driving lane, there was a cop right in the middle of the street, standing outside of his car in the middle of the street that signaled to pull me over.
Last year, the school did not dish out their own punishments to students caught driving up the middle lane.
There were not really any school consequences beside the fact that because I missed my first period class, I had an unexcused absence.
However, this year the school has implemented new rules regarding parking in the area surrounding school and has begun to crack down on students who decide to drive up the middle lane. Senior Diego Ahmad is one of the students who has been affected by the new parking policies.
I knew that we weren't allowed to park on Halkirk, so I thought if I just parked by Ralph's, it would probably be fine. So what happened was the security guards pulled up next to me and said, "You can't park here, get back in your car and follow us to campus." They took me to campus and had me park on the track. They took a picture of my ID to send to Mr. Church for later, and then I was just parked on campus for the rest of the day. I honestly just don't know why we aren't still allowed to park on Halkirk. I had been doing that for the last 2 years, and I'd never had any trouble with it. I didn't know that the neighbors had any trouble with it since it was all in the legal parking zones, so I guess I don't really understand why the administration has changed that policy.
Head of Security Mr. Damate says that these policies are being implemented because of past incidents between students and neighbors.
Throughout the years, and I've been here for almost 30 years, there's been a lot of issues in the street with kids parking in front of driveways, kids being rude to neighbors, dropping trash, what have you. Even some other bad things, maybe some bad things, if you know what I'm saying. So we want to really tighten all that up for our neighbors and more security for you guys.
Ultimately, these new rules are meant to ensure the safety of students.
It's a huge violation. You get a head-on collision. There's been a lot of accidents out there. I've been witnessing people getting killed out there hitting parked cars in my tenure here, being here almost 30 years.
However, students are not the only members of the community affected by these policies.
We get teachers too. And then Mrs. Ross or Mr. Commons deals with that if we catch a teacher doing something wrong. So it's not only after you guys. Actually, the last couple of days I reported more teachers than I did than kids, but that's okay.
The school hopes that the strict enforcement of driving in the area surrounding Harvard-Westlake will cause members of the community to abide by their new policies. For Campus News, I'm Cole Katz.
And that's the Campus News for Monday, November 4th. I'm Alexandra Mork. We'll see you next time.